Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Trustee Lautner.
Here.
Trustee Zora.
Here.
Trustee Council.
Here.
Trustee Sheehan.
Here.
Trustee Caputo.
Here.
Trustee Diaferio.
Here.
President DeCipio.
Here.
A quorum is present, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, moving on to public participation. Now, there's two parts to our public participation on our board meeting. One is for agenda-related items at the beginning of the meeting, and one is for non-agenda-related items at the end of the meeting. I'm going to waive that tonight because I know there's some folks here that would like to talk about non-agenda-related items so that they don't have to wait around. I'm going to ask that we do both agenda and non-agenda-related items. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. It's not a discussion. You make your comments and we move forward. So with that, I'll open up. If anyone care to approach the board and speak to the board, you're more than welcome to step up to the mic and give us your name. Would anyone else care to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Megan?
Thank you, Mr. President. The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes. 1, Village Board meeting, July 22nd, 2025. 2, Village Board closed session meeting, July 22nd, 2025. B, action, accounts payable and payroll summary, motion 1, to authorize the president and chairperson of the finance committee to sign the register for bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers. And motion 2, to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and the next village board meeting with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
Motion to approve consent agenda is presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner.
Yes.
Trustee Zora.
Yes.
Trustee Council.
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
Trustee Caputo.
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio.
Yes.
President DeCipio. The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. I would like to ask the board for presidential privilege to move 14A up to the next item of agenda. Okay, just a little bit of little surprise here. Before we move into the Youth Commission, I just want to make it important that we stress that we are a community here, and youth are a very important part of the fabric of our community. I was approached and sent a letter 2 weeks ago by one of the youth in our community about an idea that they had that they'd like to present to the village. So Julie and I met with this young lady on Friday, and she appeared a little bit nervous coming in and talking to us, but she did a phenomenal job. So I thought it would be appropriate to get her up here to briefly, in a couple minutes, just explain what her intent is, what she'd like to do, and what Julie and I had talked about. So Ava Hansen, one of the youth of our community, would you please come up here, please?
Good evening. Mr. DeCipio and I recently had a little meeting together, and we talked about a plan that I had for LaGrange Park. LaGrange or LaGrange Park? LaGrange Park, my bad. I had a vision of, if any of you have seen Gilmore Girls, I'd really like to decorate LaGrange Park. I think it would make people feel more welcome and cozy. Specifically for Halloween, yeah. Thank you.
So just to briefly explain again, Ava had brought an idea to Julie and I about the idea of maybe including the Chamber Youth Commission that we're going to be introducing shortly, to try and get some decorations up for Halloween, bales of hay, corn stalks. We've already talked to Rick about the corn stalks and the bales of hay. Ava has a passion to reach out to other youth in our community to see if they'd like to participate. I think it's a great way to get our youth involved and see what we can do to make our community a little bit more friendlier on Halloween. So with that, I'd like to thank Ava for coming and getting up here and speaking before you, the board. Thank you, Ava. Yeah, 14A. Do you have it? Okay, next we're going to move on to 14A, which is the appointment and reappointment to the Youth Commission. The Youth Commission is comprised of 10 members who each serve a 2-year term. Currently, the Youth Commission has 5 vacancies to fill due to recent graduations. The village received several applications for the open positions and recommends the following candidates be appointed to serve on the Youth Commission for terms detailed in the motions. Some of you are here tonight, so when I call your name, if you just stand up so the board can recognize you. Thank you. Knox Kruk, sophomore at St. Ignatius. Kennedy Mulhall, 8th grader at South E. Gross. Beatrix Provost, 8th grader at S.E. Gross. Ava Hansen, 8th grader at Park Junior High. Jack Utney, he's a junior at LT High School. Additionally, there are 2 members whose terms expire in 2025. Staff has confirmed their interest in reappointments. That would be Luca Deppa, September 25th to September 27th, 2027, and Harry Keenan, September 2025 to September 2027. Staff recommends that the board affirm President DeCipio's recommendation to appoint and reappoint the aforementioned individuals to the Youth Commission. I will request a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to submit a motion to appoint Knox Kruk, Kennedy Mulhall, and Beatrice Provost to the Village of LaGrange Park Youth Commission to fill terms expiring in September 2026. 2, to appoint Ava Hansen and Jack Utney to the Village of LaGrange Park Youth Commission to fill terms expiring in September 2027. And 3, to reappoint Harry Keenan and Luca Deppa to the Village of LaGrange Park Youth Commission for terms expiring in September 2027.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I think we're all very fortunate to have these youth come forward and service our community, so thank you all for wanting to participate. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Okay, so the reason I moved it up was so that you guys could go home and do your homework.
Congratulations. Take care of yourself. Night.
Okay, next up we had Village Manager's Report. Julia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Next, Administration Committee, Trustee Council.
Thank you, President Discipio. My report is as follows. Save the date. The village's annual fall cleanup day will take place on Saturday, October 11. Eligible residents must purchase 5 refuse stickers from the village and place their items at the curb by 6 o'clock a.m. Visit the village's website for more information and a list of acceptable items. Village offices will be closed on Monday, September 1 in observance of Labor Day. Regular office hours will resume on Tuesday, September 2nd at 9 a.m. The next item for discussion is the collective bargaining agreement with IUOE Local 150. The purpose is to approve a new collective bargaining agreement between the village and the IUOE Local 150. General background. The 3-year collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Grange Park and the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 150, IUOE, expired on April 30th, 2025. IUOE represents employees in the Public Works Department. Anticipating the expiration of the agreement, the village and IUOE discussed the terms of a successor collective bargaining agreement. The village board reviewed the salient terms of the 3-year successor agreement covering the period of May 1, 2025 through April 30th, 2027. We have a list of the wages and the contract year and the health and dental coverage that is being provided to the employees. Would you like me to read that into the record?
No, thank you, Trustee.
Thank you. Other provisions of the CBA have been modified as follows. Section 22.2, certification incentive. The language was revised to increase the amount of compensation for arborists and water license certifications from $825 to $1,000 lump sum bonus for each certification held in a new tree risk assessment qualification, or better known as TRAC, for $1,000 lump sum bonus. An increase from $625 to $1,000 lump sum bonus for an employee who possesses and maintains a water license but is not the classification of water operator. Staff recommends approval of the collective bargaining agreement between the village and IUOE Local 150. This item is for discussion and action. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of LaGrange Park and the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 150 Public Employee Division, the terms of May 1st, 2025 through April 30th of 2028.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Council.
I'm very happy to see that we have been able to strike a promise with the employees, and I think that this is really a forward move, and based on Director Ratty's direction, I think that we will do well with our employees, that they continue to provide the services that we so much need in this village. I'm in full support of this, and I'm glad that there was well, for lack of a better word, a quick resolution to the task at hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Council. Any other comments?
Mr. President?
Trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I echo Trustee Council's statement. It's fair, equitable. Just a housekeeping note, under general background, second paragraph, shouldn't it read May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2028?
Yes.
Okay, just a typo correction. But I fully support this. Congratulations, both sides.
Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also fully support this and appreciate the efforts of staff to bring this to a conclusion. No, it was a very extensive discussion to get us to this point. The only question that I have is the incentives for the license certifications. Individuals that have those licensures now, will there be any additional compensation, or is that they already have the license, so there's no additional incentive? How will that be handled?
I can start, right? So regarding, I'll have to go back and refresh my memory, even though we spent hours going through this in many meetings. But anybody that holds a license or certificate under the terms of the agreement, I think it's section 17, they are eligible for certification pay.
Okay, so those that have it as well are eligible for that, as well as the individuals that are just beginning that process. Okay.
Yes, that's correct. And that's section 22, not section 17.
All right. Thank you for the clarification.
Rick, did you have any additional?
No, she clarified.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Thank you to Rick and Julia and whoever else was involved in the negotiation process for this quick turnaround. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Get to it. Thank you. First Amendment to the Tower Lease, T-Mobile Central LLC. Staff is seeking the Village Board's approval of First Amendment to Tower Lease. General background: the Village of Grange Park and T-Mobile Central LLC, the successor in interest to VoiceStream GSM Operating Company LLC, entered into a tower lease with option dated January 28, 2004, with respect to the premises located at 937 Barnesdale Road. Under the lease, T-Mobile has secured rights on the water tower at approximately 100 feet above ground level into a 300 square foot area on the ground at the base of the village's water tower for the installation, operation, and maintenance of T-Mobile's antenna facilities. T-Mobile is proposing to expand its footprint with an additional 150 square foot concrete pad in order to accommodate a new backup generator. T-Mobile's proposed lease area on the ground at the base of the water tower would increase to a total of 450 square feet. The project includes a new decorative fence and perimeter landscaping around the new lease area. T-Mobile has filed a zoning application in order to secure the zoning relief approval for the location of the generator. Village staff worked with T-Mobile to negotiate the terms of a First Amendment to the existing lease agreement. Due to the proposed expansion in lease area, the attached First Amendment to tower lease with option includes a modification of paragraph 4 regarding rent to increase rent by 1.5 times the then current base rent once construction commences on the proposed mods to the T-Mobile antenna facility. The updated terms also establish notice requirements for entry onto the premises and reimbursement for village staff monitoring T-Mobile's work outside of normal business hours. Staff recommends approval of the First Amendment to tower lease in order to modify and amend certain provisions of the lease. This item is for discussion and action. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion to approve a First Amendment to tower lease with option and authorize the village president to sign the necessary documents.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, trustee council?
Thank you, President DeCipio. I guess I can ask Rick if this is, I'm gathering that it's a safe project, that it wouldn't be an obstruction in the area that it will be placed, or is it, you know, I know the antennas are on the water tower itself, but would this generator pose a problem in that area?
No, this is actually outside of the, if you look at, you know, sky level, it's going to be outside of that perimeter of underneath the tank itself, next to their equipment that they already currently have there anyways. We looked at several options with Maggie and I when T-Mobile first presented this, and we felt that this was the best option for them to put this generator in this location. By adding the fencing in there, it's going to be hidden. It's not going to, you know, really be an eyesore or anything like that. I think it's a good idea for them to have it in case of the power failures. So.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I agree with that. Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you, trustee council. Any comments? Trustee Wadner?
Thank you, Mr. President. The question I have is, you know, I understand that this lease has escalators. When's the last time we negotiated or renegotiated the lease rate on this? I mean, I know it goes back to 2004, and there's adders, but has there been any recent history, negotiations, or discussions? Because all of those lease rates, from what I've seen, have certainly escalated. And are we comfortable that we're accommodating the appropriate amount of lease increases?
I can try to answer. I mean, you know.
You start, I finish.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really privy to the actual, that contract side of things. I know that there was some updates that they did a few years ago with some equipment swap outs. So I don't know if that was addressed during then, but from what I gather from other communities, that these rates are actually pretty similar to what other communities are getting to for these additional square footage on the ground. So if you have any other.
I'm not aware of any amendments other than the escalator that is built into the contract to 2004. I know that with this particular project, whether it was looking at the placement of the generator or looking at the lease agreement, and Attorney Jerusik can add anything to this as well, but we did work with a communications infrastructure specialist that works with municipalities, Stu Chapman, who reviewed rates. He is the go-to consultant that municipalities use in this, reviewing rates, rate levels, establishing new rates, and he worked with us on this project. So I believe it's to be fair. We looked at what we are receiving now compared to some of the other rent levels that we receive. It does have an increase every year, which I think is very good. So we believe this to be fair in terms of the rate that we receive for the equipment and the impacts that we'll have in taking up space at the Public Works facility. Larry, did you have anything to add?
My only comment is it's a multi-year lease, and it has subsequent 5-year renewals. So, you know, we're sort of at the tail end of that. I think it expires in 2034-ish. And so we're not quite there yet, but as we get closer to the end of this lease agreement, we would be renegotiating. The rent and the rent escalators do have you pretty competitive with other communities in the area. I've done a number of these for other communities. And then this whole generator concept, it's a positive that T-Mobile is finally actually spending the money on a generator for this site. Back, if you remember Katrina many, many moons ago, 2005, that knocked out a lot of cell tower service, and it created kind of a panic and difficulty for first responders and what have you to respond to that hurricane emergency situation. In 2007, the FCC said these types of cell service carriers need to either really put permanent generators in or have a portable generator available at each of their cell sites, a big cost, right? You know, what cellular companies are now doing is they are actually, because generator costs have come down, are pretty common, they are putting permanent generators in place at most of their sites, you know, at least in the Chicago metropolitan area. And so this is a positive step for the community and for communications, because our own 911 system depends on this tower. So,
Thank you, Council.
Great, thanks for that clarification. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other comments from the board? Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
President DeCipio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Trustee Council.
Thank you, President. That concludes my report.
Moving on, Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the building department activities for July of 2025. 93 building permits were issued in July 2025 compared to 77 in July of 2024. As of July, the pace of permit submittals year-to-date is slightly less than the number of submittals at this time last year. Estimated construction costs for the last month were just over $2.2 million, which is more than the $1.4 million that was realized in July 2024. Permit fees collected last month equaled $51,560, which is more than the $27,444 of permit fees collected in July 2024. 206 building inspections were conducted this past month as compared to 150 in July 2024. 2 inspections failed. The other remaining were approved. 11 new code enforcement cases were recorded last month. 6 of those cases were closed out, and the remaining 5 cases require further code enforcement action. And I have one item for discussion only. The state of Illinois recently passed legislation, Public Act 103-0510, mandating a statewide baseline building code effective January 1st, 2025. Under the new requirement, every municipality and county in Illinois that has adopted building codes must adopt building codes published in the current year or preceding 9 calendar years. Specifically, the 2018, 2021, or 2024 editions of the International Code Council standards would comply with the Act. On March 25th, the Capital Development Board notified the village that our adopted 2015 code editions do not comply with the Section 10.18 of the Act and informed us that the village must adopt more recent code editions and amendments. On April 1st, 2025, the village partnered with BNF Construction Code Services to expedite compliance with the state building and fire code regulations. Over the following months, a collaborative team comprised of building and fire department staff worked diligently with BNF to implement the necessary changes. This comprehensive effort involved continuous communication and 2-team meeting to facilitate the adoption of new codes, update local amendments, and incorporate state-mandated requirements such as provisions for smoke detectors, CO detectors, electric vehicle charging infrastructure, and enhanced energy efficiency standards. BNF Construction Code Services will join staff to provide an overview of the proposed changes at the village board meeting and answer any questions. Staff recommends approving the attached ordinance to the amendment of the Grange Park Municipal Code and adopt more recent editions of all building and fire codes. Again, this item is for discussion only.
Discussion? Go ahead.
Yes. So I just have one question. I'm sure I'll have more questions once Ed.
I'm sorry, Trustee Zora.
Oh.
Ed?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is Rich Piccolo. He's helped us adopt the codes. The codes are there. My stack's a little bigger than Dean's stack of codes, but collectively that's what we're here to talk about today. I first met Rich probably 25 years ago or so as an architect. He was a common presenter educating architects on latest code changes and the impact on the construction practices in the construction industry. And then as I got into the building official realm, continued to see Rich as he presents to the SBOC, the Suburban Building Council's entity, and has been a go-to person for code interpretation, code questions, and just a sounding board to help us do our job. A little bit about Rich. Rich is a managing employee in Building and Fire Code Academy. Rich Piccolo brings us over 30 years of knowledge, experience, and enthusiasm to BFCA. A Vietnam War veteran, Mr. Piccolo began his civilian career as a firefighter with the Elk Grove Village Fire Department in 1971, where he utilized his knowledge and conduct to conduct community education programs and fire protection code enforcement. During his 18 years as a firefighter, lieutenant, and public educator, Mr. Piccolo became involved in many construction disciplines and conducting building plan reviews and mastering model code and standards, understanding the positive impact of code compliance. Of his many achievements, Mr. Piccolo holds a degree in fire science and has earned the top certificate in his field as an International Code Council Master Professional. He holds certificates in building, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection codes. And he's recognized nationwide for his contributions to the building code enforcement, as he has served and continues to serve in many distinguished leadership positions within the construction industry and related associations, and has been honored with many awards for extraordinary industry service. He currently is chairperson of the Codes and Standard Committee for the Illinois Fire Inspections Association and a member of the Illinois Building Commission subcommittees. He is the past president of the Illinois Council of Code Administrators and continues to participate in code organizations nationwide. He has taught building code and fire science at Harper Junior College in Palatine, where he's taught fire sources as well. And he's also an appointed court-certified expert in building and construction codes. So without further ado, I'd like Rich to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. And as Jamie mentioned earlier, we were kind of backed into this by the state of Illinois.
Well, after he read that, I'm tired. Whenever we do a code adoption, the first thing we do is ask what code are they on. You are on the 2015 code, which is no longer acceptable per the state law. The next question is, what code do we go to? The 2018, the 2021, or 2024? We recommended the 2024 because you're done for 9 years. You don't have to update it all. Now, don't forget the code gets updated every 3 years. The purpose of the updates is to catch new technology, find things that were wrong in the code, new construction methods. Look, somebody's always trying to do something new, so the code has to try to keep up. We also had your local amendments that were changed every edition of the code. We made sure that the change in the code corresponded to your local amendments and it made sense. We also I always ask the question, is there anything you do that's not in the code, but it's your policy? Let's update the code to make it as efficient and up to date as possible, so there's no gaps. Contractors don't like gaps. All right. So another question is, what are some of the biggest changes in the code over the past couple of years? The first one, bar none, is energy. Okay. The energy code has far-reaching effects on every discipline: building, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Okay. Even some accessibility requirements are affected by the energy code. The next thing that we look at is EV charging stations. That's per the new state law. Then there's a bunch of additional requirements for lithium battery storage. Unbeknownst to us, lithium batteries crept up on us. Lithium battery fires are horrible fires to fight. The codes did not keep up. Now the current code, the current 2024 Building and Fire Code, has language in there to handle lithium battery fires and lithium battery manufacture and storage. Also in the 2024 code, there's a couple of tables in the code that tell you how many exits you need from a room. Like, when does this room need a second exit? When does it need a third exit? All those tables were updated in 2024. Besides general tweaking of the code, the first time they published the ICC code series was in the year 2000. So the book, it's been changed every 3 years since then. So it's constantly been updated. So it's a pretty current code, but there's always little tweaks that we have to do to make sure it stays competitive, make sure it stays understandable, make sure it meets the needs of your municipality. The local codes are directed towards the things that apply to Grange Park. The code's a national code, but everything in there doesn't directly correlate to what you do in LaGrange Park. That's why we had a bunch of local amendments that we went through extensively, item by item by item, to make sure it's what we still wanted. Does it meet the new? Does it collaborate with the new code? Does it make sense? Is it practical? And is going to be any contractor pushback? So, on that note, do you have any questions about the building code or any one of the codes? There is a list. I could read the codes that you adopted, but basically, it's the 2024 I codes, the 2023 National Electrical Code, the Illinois Plumbing Code, the Illinois Accessibility Code, and the Illinois Energy Conservation Code. But the rest of the codes are the 2024 International Code Series. One new code is the existing building code. The existing building code is where you, with all your existing buildings, that's where you start from. You touch an existing building, you start with the existing building code. It tells you what you can do, what you can't do. Design professionals like the existing building code because it gives them more choices. We can reuse existing buildings, not have to rebuild the building to meet the new code. There's allowances in the existing building code to handle those existing buildings. Now, any questions?
I do have a question, and we are adopting the 2024 IBC, right? You did say that? Okay.
That's correct.
So I was told by a structural engineer that when we would be, let's say, on an existing building, we'd be modifying a roof, and maybe it didn't have insulation, but now because of the energy codes, we have to add insulation, that then we would be required to upgrade the structure of the building too. If we were increasing the percentage of the weight by so much, it would also require us to, by default, to increase the structure. Is that true?
If you're doing more than 5%, the existing building code gives you a 5% leeway.
So 5%?
Yeah.
That's not very much.
I agree completely. Well, if you're building a new building, re-roofing a building, tearing the roof off the building, you have to meet the new code.
So are we going to have any amendments in there? Because we have a lot of old buildings here. We're going to expect our businesses to upgrade their structure if they add roof insulation or a new rooftop unit?
Well, if they don't touch the roof, they don't have to add the insulation. What the code says is that if you have an open cavity, let's just say that's an exterior wall, and they don't touch the exterior wall, they don't have to open up the wall to add new insulation. If they take the drywall down and open up the cavity, then they'd have to meet the new energy code. So the same thing would apply to the roof. If they don't expose the insulation, it can stay the way it is without adding more insulation value.
Okay. I'm still concerned about this, but I put it out there. So
well, one of the issues that happened is between the 2015 and the 2024, the ash rate table changed. That's what causes the difference. But that's the current code.
Okay.
Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. Clarification that I'm looking for is the mandate from the state of Illinois that we update the code, or that we update and enforce the code? Or is that still some parts at the discretion of the municipality?
Adoption of the code is your choice. If you have a code, the state tells you which ones you have to have. Technically, you don't even need a building code. Now, please, that's not a good idea. But you do have a choice. We work with some communities in Central Illinois. They don't have any codes. They don't have a building inspector. That's their choice. But it puts long term. It puts the municipality, the city, at risk for litigation if they don't make sure the contractors build to what the state says.
And is it all or none? The 2024 codes. It's all in total, or are there parts of it that can be, I'll say, pick and choose?
You have the right to amend the code. The only codes you can't amend the Illinois Plumbing Code without state approval. You can't amend you can't touch the Illinois Energy Code, period. Stricter or more strict. But the rest of the codes, you adopt, and you adopt the code, you make your own local amendments as you choose.
I understand. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Piccolo, thank you for coming tonight, and since you're a vet, thank you for your service to our great nation.
You're very welcome.
It's appreciated. Anywhere, you know, without being proficient in the 2024 code, when it comes to energy and choices, whether it be new construction or remodeling, anywhere in there where it takes away our choice, is it going to cram all electric down our throats? We're going to have choice for gas, natural gas?
The choice between electric and natural gas, the code doesn't mandate which one.
Okay.
There's requirements for efficiency ratings. If you buy a furnace, it has to meet the new efficiency ratings. Now, if you have an electric furnace, new efficiency ratings. There's currently it's been proposed, but it's not there yet. It's been proposed to regulate kitchen stoves.
Yeah, you knew where I was going.
Yeah, I gotta be really honest. I'm worried about them leaving my stove alone.
Right.
But some parts of them, they want to eliminate all gas stoves. That's not in the current code anywhere, but it is in the back of some people's minds.
So, thank you for your answer. So if it comes down to that, as a local municipality, would we be able to set our own code to give people choice and not be the gas stove police?
It depends on what the state law says.
Interesting.
Because, like the Illinois Plumbing Code, you have no choice with the Illinois Plumbing Code. You must use the Illinois Plumbing Code. If they do the Illinois gas stove code, guess what?
Yeah.
We're stuck.
I better watch out for my pension checks, huh?
If you work
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
I want to say thank you for trusting me to help you update your code. It's a privilege and an honor for me to do that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, trustee Zora?
That's all I had, thank you.
We're all done? Okay. Okay, moving on to, yes.
Mr. President, I had just one thing to mention regarding the building code update.
Go ahead.
We did add one provision within the codes that the board is going to consider regarding window coverings. This is in response to some of the issues that we experienced in the community. If it's a good time, I would like to ask Attorney Jerusik to maybe provide a quick overview on that particular update to the building code.
Sure. Attorney, counsel?
It's ordinance, let me get to the title for you. It's the ordinance that approves it's the ordinance that approves the building codes, the residential code, the accessibility code. And what we're looking at is 150.31. It's actually the International Property Maintenance Code. And what staff does, we work together to implement some standards that deal with when you have vacancies in commercial property. You know, sometimes you see when you drive around and, you know, you see through those windows and you see a vacant property. You know, sometimes it's not very sightly. You know, they may have debris in there. They may have, contractors' ladders up there and it looks half under construction. You got to balance that with, doesn't make sense to screen, to give, some type of privacy there so it doesn't look so vacant. So what we did is we came up with window displays. So at page 17 of this particular ordinance, section 30.10, we have windows. And essentially what we say is any commercial property located on the first or the ground floor that remains vacant more than 30 days has to erect a decorative window display depicting a cultural, educational, historic, municipal, or community-related theme in all windows facing the street, public right-of-way, or any sidewalk. The decorative window display is to have a backdrop, a screen, blind, curtain, partition, or some other article preventing a clear view into the interior of the property. Essentially what that does is, and if you see it in other communities, sometimes it's educational, sometimes it's promotional of activities in the community. It's a nice way to take a spot that may be vacant or under construction, getting a new facelift and giving us a better looking facade in the temporary time frame until it gets to be occupied. So just that's something that staff thought would be really good to bring forward based, I think, on comments they heard in the community, and so we were able to incorporate that into the document, the code amendment.
So I know that Julie and I had talked about this because we have a window display on 31st Street that has been papered up for many months, maybe a year or so. So this would go into effect and they would have a certain amount of time to remove that and put up whatever is described in the ordinance.
Correct, and keep it maintained so it looks good.
And they would have what, like 30 days?
30 days,
Okay.
yeah. There's a 30-day compliance period in here after notice.
I think this is a great ordinance that we need to get in there. Any other comments on? Thank you, Julia. Okay.
That's it.
Moving on to Engineering Capital Projects Committee, Trustee DeFerrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the Engineering and Capital Projects Summary Report for July 2025. The Village's 2025 Water Main Improvement Project bid opening is set for August 7, 2025. It is anticipated that with Village Board approval at the August meeting, the project will begin by September 15th. The project focuses on replacing a water main on Kings Court and Castle Circle. Permits to the IEPA and MWRD have been issued. The Central Area Sewer Separation Project's plans and specifications are currently underway. Coordination of the MWRD, Stormwater Partnership Grant, and the HUD HUD grant agreements with both entities is proceeding. The intention is to have the project constructed in 2026 and 2027. A tentative bid schedule would have the village award the project between December 2025 and February 2026, depending on the execution of various grants. Sewer maintenance programs, sewer lining program, sewer cleaning and televising program, sewer point repair project are out to bid with a bid opening scheduled for August 14th. It is anticipated that with Village Board approval at the August meeting, the process will begin by September 15th. Roadway maintenance programs, sidewalk replacement program, pavement patching program, crack filling project specifications have been completed and submitted to IDOT for review as they use MFT funds. A bid date in September is anticipated with work expected to be completed by November 21st, 2025. 30-inch head wall replacement into Salt Creek. Sewer televising was able to locate the route of the storm sewer as it passes through the forest preserve. The village will continue work with the forest preserve to identify and access a route for equipment materials, thereby minimizing the impact on existing ecosystem. And that concludes the report for July 2025.
Thank you, Trustee DeFerrio. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Caputo.
Yes, thank you, President DeCipio. I have a few items on my list. First, the Police Department summary activities for July of 2025. Total number of crimes this year are 13% lower than last year at this time, with 121 reported this year compared to 138 last year. Traffic enforcement is at 2,217 total tickets issued through July of 2025. Overall police activity is slightly lower to last year, with 1,193 total incidents reported in the month of July 2025. Of those 1,193 incidents, 48 were assist the fire department, 211 were self-initiated building or park checks, 232 were traffic stops, and 95 were closed home checks. Officer Matt Fellers retired from the police department effective on July 1st. Tim Griffin was promoted to the rank of patrol commander, and department members took part in 108 hours of training throughout the month of July of 2025, along with Lexipol training, daily training bulletins, and Police Law Institute training. Mark Lemus was hired as a part-time police officer, and the police department staff attended multiple block parties throughout the month. Deputy Chief Morocco and Chief Contois met with Scott Heston from the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, who stated, "Our department is meeting all mandates the state has imposed." Chief Contois held a Board of Police Commissioners meeting. The police department held its third annual car show, raising money for Illinois Special Olympics torch run. And please follow the police department on our Facebook page at LaGrange Park Police Department, our Twitter account at LaGrange Park PD, and Instagram at LaGrange Park PD. And then a friendly reminder for securing one's personal property at all times. Please lock your doors in your residence, especially during overnight hours. If you're going on vacation, please utilize the new online vacation watch portal, frontlinepss.com/LaGrange Park, or log onto the village website and access the portal under the police department page. If you do not have internet access, feel free to fill out a vacation watch card at the police department between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. and please contact me if you have any questions or need additional information. The next item on the agenda is the fire department summary for July 2025. EMS incidents this month, 184. There have been 1,254 year-to-date compared to 1,110 year-to-date in 24. Fire rescue incidents this month were 81. There have been 445 year-to-date compared to 372 in 2024. Personnel assisted with a day camp program that was held at Forest Road. Personnel participated in 3 Independence Day parades in neighboring communities. Captain Fagan was awarded a service award for 25 years with the department. Personnel completed their driver's training cone course throughout the month. Department hazardous material technicians participated in training with the US EPA. A contractor removed contents left behind at 2024 Newberry as part of preparing for fire training. And a project kickoff meeting was held virtually with our emergency operations plan consultant. The Secretary of State conducted an unannounced audit of our fire department drivers' training records, and our fire department's 125th anniversary fire apparatus muster took place in conjunction the police department car show and the Park District Midsummer Memorial event. The Mabus 10 mobile ventilation unit provided cooling in the extreme heat. We thank the police department for allowing our event to be paired with theirs. And a quarterly meeting of our foreign fire insurance fund was held late in the month. I have 3 incidents of interest for you. The fire department responded to 28 calls over the 4th of July weekend. 2 most likely involved fireworks in LaGrange. Causing damage to a home and another a dumpster next to a garage. 1 call in the village involved 2 primary lines that came down on a car, causing a power outage and most likely caused by a Mylar balloon. The fire department responded to 11 incidents on July 24th, mostly related to trees and wires down from the storm, and a significant crash on LaGrange Low with a light pole knocked down. We also assisted LaGrange with a couple of calls, including wires and trees on fire and electrical damage and smoke to the 7-Eleven on Ogden. And also during the month, the fire department assisted the Pleasant View fire department with garage fires in unincorporated LaGrange Highlands, and again assisted in LaGrange with a significant attic fire from a lightning strike at 1113 South Biola. I have a couple other items on the agenda. This next item is the PropertyRoom.com partnership. The purpose is in aligning with our ongoing efforts to streamline operations and enhance transparency. The LaGrange Park Police Department recommends initiating a partnership with PropertyRoom.com to manage the disposal of unclaimed property. This online auction platform specializes in working with law enforcement agencies nationwide, offering secure, compliant, and cost-effective solutions. Currently, the department manages unclaimed property throughout internal processes that require significant staff time and offer limited public reach. And PropertyRoom.com provided a turnkey service that includes item pickup, secure storage, professional auction management, and revenue disbursement, all while ensuring compliance with applicable laws and department policies. PropertyRoom.com reduces administrative burden on staff and eliminates the need for in-house storage and auction coordination. The net proceeds from auctions are returned to the department, while PropertyRoom.com will provide us with a transactional document to account for transparent reporting. PropertyRoom.com adheres to all state and federal regulations regarding unclaimed property, while their chain of custody protocols ensure integrity of asset handling. In addition to the above, the utilization of PropertyRoom.com will allow for the listing of unclaimed property on a nationally recognized platform, increasing visibility and fairness in public areas. And upon approval, the department will finalize a service agreement with propertyroom.com and establish internal protocols for item documentation and transfer. We will also begin with a pilot batch of eligible items to evaluate process efficiency. The staff recommendation is to approve of the asset disposition services agreement with propertyroom.com as our designated vendor for unclaimed property disposal. And this item is for action and discussion. The staff is recommending approval of the asset of disposition service agreement with propertyroom.com as our designated vendor for unclaimed property disposal. And the motion or action is this item is up for discussion action. And the motion is to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of vendor contract with propertyroom.com for disposal of unclaimed property held by the Village of Grange Park Police Department.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, trustee Caputo.
Yes, thanks, President Scipio. Chief Contois, if you can maybe jump in here and maybe let me know. I was kind of going through some of this stuff. Is there a fee that we pay propertyroom.com, or do they get a percentage of what the items are that are auctioned off, and they get a piece of the action, we get the balance? How does that work out?
Yeah, there's nothing that we have to pay to be a member of the propertyroom.com. We will get a percentage of whatever they sell the item for. While they keep a percentage, we get a percentage as well.
Great. Yeah. So anything you want to add about this? Have you heard of anybody else using it? What kind of responses that the other municipalities are working with? How's it?
Yeah, I believe there's over 4,400 agencies throughout the United States that use propertyroom.com. This was actually brought to me by my investigators who were at a conference. Property Room did a presentation. There are several neighboring jurisdictions that also use propertyroom.com. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Again, it streamlines services. We don't have the staff time or the ability to host auctions, house property. The building can't get any bigger, so we need to figure out ways to kind of clear out some space. So again, this is a service that doesn't cost us anything, and we will get a cut or a percentage of whatever the item is sold for.
Okay, great. Thank you for your answers. And yeah, I agree. I think this is a great thing, especially after we were talking a little earlier tonight about the short staff that we already have. So if we could utilize them to do real police duties instead of managing unclaimed items, I think this is a win-win for everyone, especially since it's not costing us money out of pocket. And like you said, we don't have to store miscellaneous items here that we don't really have the space for. So I'm definitely in favor for this. I think it's a great approach.
Thank you, trustee Caputo. Yeah, I went on the site. I think I encourage each board member to go on this site. It's pretty fascinating what's on there. And it's kind of like an auction.
Yeah, if you're looking for a barge, there's a lot of barges from New Orleans.
Jewelry, cars,
Yep.
clothing, everything. They've got everything. It's pretty inexpensive, but yet it's pretty fascinating because it's an auction. You bid on this supplies that each police department brings in there. But there's jewelry, there's cars, and pretty inexpensive things you can purchase. But it's just an experience to go on the site and see how it works so that you're better informed of what we have. Any other comments? No, sir. We have a motion, second. Yes, trustee Laudner?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm not sure, I thought I heard you say that there's a fee to join it, but I couldn't.
There's not.
It's no cost at all to join this.
No cost to join whatsoever.
Okay, and we just enjoy the proceeds from the auction price.
The percentage of the sale.
Right. When I looked at the documents provided, there weren't percentages that were filled in, or is that to be negotiated yet, or?
No, I thought there was a percentage based on the sale of the item.
Depending upon the value of
Correct.
the item? Okay. I don't recall seeing the percentages, but if it's in there, that's fine.
I do believe it is in there, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? No. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
I have one more item on my list. It's regarding new vehicle purchase for the fire department. The general background is the fiscal year 2025 budget includes finances allocated for the purchase of a new vehicle for the deputy fire chief. This will be a take-home vehicle, as the deputy fire chief is instrumental in both administrative and emergency response duties. Also, he must be regularly available outside of business hours, and he lives within the village. The current fire chief's vehicle is a 2021 Chevy Tahoe Special Service vehicle with approximately 19,000 miles on it. We hope to purchase a near duplicate of this vehicle, but a 2026 model. The fire department has been considering various purchasing channels to obtain this vehicle, including joint purchasing programs such as the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative and state programs, but they have not been available. We also have been seriously considering purchasing a Chevy Tahoe LS as an alternative if we were unable to obtain the SSV, or the SSV was cost prohibitive by comparison. We recently were contacted by Curry Motors Chevrolet that GM has released pricing and information for the Chevy Tahoe SSV in anticipation of taking orders and beginning manufacturing. And in further discussions with our Curry Motors fleet representative, he indicated that this vehicle will not be offered through the SPC. As such, we want to place an order for such. We would need to go through a dealer and waive competitive bidding. We reviewed the information provided and would like to move forward with the purchase of the Tahoe Special Service Vehicle. The SSV is considered a commercial vehicle and is equipped at standard with some mechanical enhancements that make it better suited for our use in the fire service than a standard vehicle. There are also options that are included and further ones that can be included that make it easier to upfit and modify for public safety service. We have a plan for moving some existing emergency radios around to outfit the vehicle, but there will be ancillary costs associated with the purchase of completely completely upfit the vehicle with emergency equipment. Please see the breakdown of costs and expenditures as follow. So for the 2026 Chevrolet Tahoe SSV, $58,206. Additional factory equipment is about $1,871.87. And the total base vehicle cost from the Curry Motors Chevrolet is $60,077.87. We also have the emergency warning equipment accessories estimate at $6,000, and the upfitting estimate is about $3,000 as well. So there is currently a $55,000 allocation of this purchase in the capital funds. As you're aware, such vehicle costs have significantly risen over the past few years since planning for this purchase. Although at this time we cannot point out specific areas of our fire department budget to cover the additional vehicle expense, we do believe we can offset a portion of the warning equipment and upfitting from other funds related to vehicle parts and maintenance. While this expenditure is over what was included in the budget, the $7,000 overage can be accommodated in the capital funds project fund. Further, while not directly related or specifically applicable to this purchase, the fire department is recently in receipt of $17,000 as part of a reimbursement grant for training, which was not anticipated revenue and not included in the budget, but will be recorded as part of the fiscal year 25 audit. Staff recommendation is, after careful reevaluation and consideration, the staff is recommending entering into a vendor agreement with Curry Motors Chevrolet of Forest Park, Illinois, for the purchase of one new 2026 Chevy Tahoe Special Service Vehicle. This action is for discussion, and the motion is to waive the procurement process in lieu of purchasing a certain vehicle for use by the fire department from Curry Motors Chevrolet of Forest Park, Illinois, that is being one 2026 Chevrolet Tahoe Special Service Vehicle for a cost not to exceed $62,000.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, trustee Caputo?
I feel that this is, I know we had the budget for it, and it sounds like we're a little bit over our budget, as we said, due to the cost of things going up, and it sounds like there's other funds and other means of being able to pay for the balance. Maybe Chief Magos could add anything to this. Is there anything you feel? Do you feel these ancillary funds will be available to make the difference of what our budget was versus what the additional cost in some of this emergency equipment we need. Is that going to be sufficient to go forward with this in your department?
Yeah, again, not specifically, but in following up with Julia and Larry, they thought there was funds in the capital projects fund that could still be allocated. Also, in speaking with the upfitter who is doing one of the police vehicles, he does believe with the SSV it'll be less costly than some of the other vehicles we've been doing recently, because there's a lot of pre-wired, through the firewall, things like that. So I put numbers in there, but they are best guess estimates. But we do think we can find the funds for those.
Okay, thank you. That is. I feel this is a needed vehicle, and as we all know, that every year we don't get a vehicle, the costs go up, the availability goes down, and if we don't take this chance now, we may not see this vehicle maybe for 2, 3, 4 more years or something. So while we have the opportunity to get the vehicle and we have the funds available to do it, I'm in favor of doing it. We definitely, from past meetings and discussions, we definitely take care of our vehicles, and we repurpose them and use them for other things in other areas and departments and people. So I think it's going to be a beneficial piece of equipment for us.
Just one more comment. I had to pull some records out. We did a comparison of the vehicle we purchased, my vehicle 4 years ago, and this vehicle to kind of compare options, because we almost wanted the same thing. It was $38,000 only 4 years ago, and now it's nearly 60.
Yes.
We almost went option per option.
Wow. And it'll be 80,000 in 3, 4 more years. So I think it's beneficial for us to take care of this now if we could make it happen.
Thank you, Trustee Caputo. Any other comments from the Trustee Zora?
One question. That $17,000 reimbursement grant, that's not going towards the car. You're just saying that it came in and it'll be offset into another budget so we could use those funds for the car?
Yeah, when we had some discussions about, how are we going to afford this? I kind of brought it up to Julia, and I think she talked to Larry a bit just to say, hey, it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
It goes into the general fund, or did already, but it was unexpected revenue that we didn't account for as revenue in the current budget.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
Trustee Council?
Thank you, President DeCipio. I noticed this is to Dean, I noticed in the purchase for the police department that they were getting their vehicle from out of state from a different dealer, and that was a little less costly. Is this purchase, the cost of it, because it's a specialty vehicle, or that this other company that the police department is ordering their vehicle from cannot be used by the fire department?
It can be, but we much rather use the SSV, and I think the cost difference, I don't remember exactly, is only about $1,000 difference. What was yours, 58, 59?
59.
And the SSV, I was on the verge of ordering the same thing as the police department, because we weren't sure this would become available. When it became available and the cost was pretty comparative, again, I believe there will be some savings on the upfitting, and there's some enhancements. There's a second battery, bigger alternator. There's a skid plate underneath in case you hit things. It's not a standard vehicle. It's slightly above that. It's probably got some less things, as far as fancy, but
Right.
And we would have went that route because we didn't think this was going to be available until 2 weeks ago when they released it.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. So to clarify, did we check with Carl in Iowa on the potential availability of it and what pricing might be available?
Yeah, they could not supply this vehicle.
At all?
They did not have SSVs available.
Okay. And just clarification again from our village attorney, just confirming no issues with waiving competitive bidding.
Given the pricing, this is, the appropriate way to go about purchasing the vehicle.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
That concludes my agenda. Thanks,
Trustee
Trustee.
Caputo. Moving on to
President
Public
DeCipio.
Works Committee, Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Here we go. Month of July, Public Works replaced 2 leaking lead service lines. Staff repaired multiple catch basins due to sinkholes forming and structural issues. Hydrant flushing began on the east side of the village and will continue until completed. The brush collection program continued the first full week in July. DPW continued to use a brush tracking program with GIS to allow residents to see current local and location and completed streets. DPW rented a bucket truck for a week in order to complete a large quantity of tree-related work orders. Public Works participated in the Community Park District Midsummer event, assisting in the village tent and bringing equipment for the public to see. A trip was made to Linco to review and go over layout details on a new plow truck. This truck should be ready for pickup in the next month or 2. Final asphalt patching was completed throughout the village from previous excavations. Pothole repairs were made in various locations and parkway restorations began from prior excavations. GIS work has continued collecting data on village-owned assets along with continued training throughout the village. Water meters were read in all sections. 15 monthly bacterial water samples were taken. Various work and sewer work orders were completed along with resident tree concerns and general construction inquiries. Routine maintenance of the department's fleet and equipment was completed as well as with police and fire vehicles. Okay, now we'll go to resolution for open order for water meter vault repair services. The purpose is staff seeks the village board approval to approve a resolution for a vendor contract to establish an open purchase order with a not to exceed amount for certain water meter vault repair services with Engineered Solutions Midwest. Over a fiscal year, the Public Works Department purchases services for water repair. The village water intake meter vault located at Prairie and Garfield was designed by Engineered Solutions Midwest. Periodically, the meter vault requires maintenance to continue providing quality water to our residents. Engineered Solutions Midwest provides both the labor and the specific custom meter vault materials required to restore and maintain it in a good working order. Engineered Solutions Midwest is the sole manufacturer of the village's specific meter vault and replacement components. In the fiscal year 25-26 budget line item requiring a PO and the vendor that provides this service with the requested cap on expenditures under this open PO process is as follows. Engineered Solutions Midwest, water intake meter vault maintenance, $23,000. Fiscal year 25-26 budget includes $23,000 in the water fund, supplies $570,606.00 for water intake meter vault maintenance. Staff recommends that an open purchase order with Engineered Solutions Midwest be approved in an amount not to exceed $23,000 at tonight's meeting. Due to the total amount being under $25,000, the competitive bid process is not required for this PO. Therefore, make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of vendor contract with Engineered Solutions Midwest for intake water meter vault repair and maintenance services fiscal year 25-26 and authorizing the expenditure of village water fund in amount not to exceed $23,000.
Second.
Motion second, discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I support this. You know, the water vault, supply all the water to our residents. You know, if we need a part or we need something replaced, they're Johnny on the spot. Director Raddy seems happy, so I would support this.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Okay, next we go, resolution for open purchase order for water valve exercising and maintenance services. The purpose, staff seeks the village board's approval to approve a resolution for a vendor contract to establish open purchase order with not to exceed amounts for certain water valve exercising and maintenance services on the mark with a waiver of the village's contract procurement process. Over a fiscal year, the Public Works Department purchases services for water repairs. The EPA requires that water valves should be exercised at a minimum of once a year, validating they are operational for immediate service on a water system. The village has contracted for services with On the Mark for the last 20 years. In addition to regular services, they have been available for emergency work and simulated shutdowns. On the Mark is a local vendor with whom the village has a very good working relationship, and this vendor has previously provided prompt, excellent service at affordable pricing for their services. The fiscal year 25-26 budget line item requiring a PO and the vendors that provide this service with the requested cap on expenditures under this open PO process is as follows. On the Mark, water valve exercising and maintenance, $35,000. The fiscal year 25-26 budget includes $35,000 in the water fund, supplies $576,0600 for water valve exercising and maintenance. Staff recommends that an open purchase order with On the Mark be approved in the amount not to exceed $35,000 at tonight's meeting. Due to waiving the competitive bid process, the village board must approve by a 2/3 vote. Make a motion, a resolution approving the waiver of the competitive bid process and authorizing the approval and execution of vendor contract with On the Mark for valve exercising and maintenance services for fiscal year 25-26 and authorizing the expenditure of village water fund in the amount not to exceed $35,000.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. They've served us well for 20 years, whether it be natural gas or water. In a case of an emergency, you want to make sure that these valves work, that they turn, shut off, and safely. I fully support this.
Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Next, we'll go resolution for open purchase orders for water leak detection services. Staff seeks the village board's approval to approve a resolution for a vendor contract to establish open purchase order, PO, with a not to exceed amounts for certain water leak detection services with associated technical services. Over a fiscal year, the Public Works Department purchases service for water repairs. Since 1979, Associated Technical Services has been a leader in infrastructure services and maintained a 96% accuracy rate for pinpointing leaks within the first repair excavation. This is the highest documented accuracy in the business. Associated Technical Services is a local vendor with whom the village has a very good working relationship, and this vendor has previously provided prompt, excellent service at affordable pricing for services. The fiscal year 25-26 budget line item requires a PO, and the vendor that provides this service with the requested cap on expenditures under this open PO process is as follows. Associated Technical Services Water Leak Detection Service, $24,000. The 25-26 budget includes $24,000 in the water fund, supplies $576,0600 for leak detection services. Staff recommends that an open purchase order with Associated Technical Services be approved in the amount not to exceed $24,000 at tonight's meeting. Due to the total amount being under $25,000, the competitive bid process is not required for this PO. Motion to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of vendor contract with Associated Technical Services for water leak detection services for fiscal year 25-26 and authorizing the expenditure of village water fund in the amount not to exceed $24,000.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Trustee Sheehan?
96% accuracy, served the village pretty well, very well. I support this wholeheartedly.
Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Okay. Go next. Exercising public works vehicle, right? Okay, next we have the Public Works vehicle purchase. Purpose to approve the purchase of a new Public Works fleet vehicle in the amount of $59,222. In the fiscal year 24-25 budget, the Public Works Department included included plans to purchase a new pickup truck to replace an aging vehicle. This purchase was subsequently reallocated to the current fiscal year's budget. At the beginning of the last fiscal year, the Public Works Superintendent's take-home vehicle, which was a repurposed police vehicle, suffered an engine failure and was ultimately retired with 150,000 miles. Due to the limited number of fleet vehicles available in Public Works and the village, the superintendent began using a fleet pickup truck. Consequently, this situation left Public Works with one less vehicle in its fleet, in addition to the vehicle being a primary snowplow truck designated for our 4x4 route. After researching options and evaluating needs, the best solution is to transfer the director's vehicle to the superintendent and allocate the new fleet pickup to be the director's vehicle. In May of this year, the village board approved a purchase of a 2025 Chevy Tahoe from Carl Automotive Group in Ankeny, Iowa, for the police department because the savings were significant compared to Curry Motors fleet. Curry Motors fleet, which holds the state contract for special service vehicles or police pursuit vehicles, does not carry an LS version of the Chevy Tahoe, and an LS version is less expensive and meets the Public Works Department needs. Carl Automotive has sold many vehicles to local government agencies for their fleet needs, including the village of LaGrange, which recently purchased several new Chevy Tahoes for the police department, and as discussed above, the village of LaGrange Park for our police department. The 2025 Tahoe prices, you see Curry Motors at a little over $65,000 on the quote. Carl Automotive comes in $59,222. This vehicle will require an upfit with safety lights and a two-way radio once received. Public Works staff is currently researching the upgrade and will utilize the remaining funds in the budget for this purpose. The fiscal year 25-26 budget includes $65,000 for the purchase of a new pickup truck for the Public Works Department. Staff recommends approving the purchase of a 2025 Tahoe LS vehicle from Carl Automotive from Ankeny, Iowa. Make a motion to waive the procurement process in lieu of purchasing a 2025 Tahoe LS vehicle for use by the Public Works Department from Carl Automotive Group of Ankeny, Iowa, under the vehicle dealer government pricing at a cost of $59,222.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. It comes under budget. I like the price. Director Ratty and I had talked about this a couple days ago. I fully support this. In the business that he's in the business that I used to be in, you pull up to an emergency or you pull up to something in the middle of winter, you don't want to be 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to be fiddling around in the back of your pickup truck. I'm certain that Rick's going to have the Tahoe loaded inside, and if the emergency ever presents itself, he'll be ready to react and respond, and the department sure could use another vehicle, so I support.
Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay. Next, we'll go to the 25-26 sewer cleaning and televising. Purpose is to approve a resolution to authorize and execute a construction contract with low bidder Visu Sewer of Illinois LLC for the 25-26 sewer cleaning and televising program. General background: according to contract specifications, the 25-26 sewer cleaning and televising program will clean and inspect designated sewer pipes throughout the village. The MWRD mandates sewer maintenance, which the village conducts annually as a preventative maintenance measure. The village engineer developed project plans and specifications, and a bid opening was held on August 14th. As a result, 3 contractors bid. They range from Visu Sewer being the low bid at $55,896.75. National Power Rodding was in the middle. Duke's Root Control was over $108,000. The engineer's estimate comes in at $69,984.50. Fiscal year 25-26 budget includes $70,000 in the sewer fund, services 510-70-62600 to clean and televise sewers. Staff recommends approval, resolution, low bid, and entering into construction contract with Business Sewer of Illinois LLC for $55,896.75. Make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a construction contract to be entered into with the lowest cost qualified and responsive bidder, Business Sewer of Illinois LLC, for the performance of sewer cleaning and televising services, and authorizing the expenditure of sewer funds to pay for the services.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Business Sewer has served us well. It's a preventative maintenance issue. MWRD mandates it, and we have to do it every year, so I support this. And my favorite, under the engineer's estimate.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Any other comments? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay, next we go to the 25-26 sewer lining project. Purpose is to approve a resolution to authorize and execute a construction contract with low bidder Hoare Construction, Inc. to complete the 25-26 sewer lining project. General background: sewer lining is necessary to improve and rehabilitate portions of the village combination and storm sewer collection system at various locations throughout the village of Grange Park. Inversion lighting and all other apparatus work will be completed under the defined project specs. Work will begin and finish before the end of the fiscal year. The village engineer developed project plans and specifications, and a bid opening was held on August 14th. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bidders came in between 97,825 for Hoare, and the highest being Performance Pipeline, $169,776. The engineer's estimate came in at $102,945. The village has budgeted $100,000 in fiscal year in the sewer fund services 510-70-80510 for sewer lining. Staff recommends approving a resolution accepting the low bid and entering into a construction contract with Hoare Construction, Inc. for $97,825. Four, make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a construction contract to be entered into with lowest cost qualified and responsive bidder Hoare Construction, Inc. for the performance of safety lining services, and authorizing the expenditure of sewer funds to pay for the service.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Inversion lining is so much cheaper than new pipe. Definitely support this, and again, under the engineer's estimate.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Next, we'll go to Sewer Point Repair Project. Approve a resolution to authorize and execute a construction contract with low bidder Suburban General Construction, Inc. for the 25-26 Sewer Point Repair Project. The village contracts sewer cleaning and televising each year at various locations. Hancock Engineer identifies locations needing repairs during these inspections and has recommended the repair of 15 sections of village sewer main to be repaired. The village engineer developed project plans and specifications, and a bid opening was held on August 14th. You see two bids. Suburban General was the lowest, $145,977.95, and Unique at $146,703.40. The engineer's estimate, again, $167,295. Fiscal year 25-26 budget includes $200,000 in the sewer fund under services 510-70-62600 to make point repairs to the sewer. Staff recommends approving a resolution accepting the low bid and entering into a construction contract with Suburban General, Inc. for $145,977.95. Motion to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a construction contract to be entered into with the lowest cost qualified and responsive bidder Suburban General Construction, Inc. for the performance of sewer point repairs and the expenditure of sewer funds to pay for the services.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. 15 sewer point repairs, aging infrastructure. This is what we have. We have to have them repaired. Suburban General is a local family-owned company and have done work for us in the past. I fully support this.
Any other comments from any board members? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay, Mr. President, I know you might be disappointed, but this is my last one.
No, I wish you had more, I really do.
I don't know, I might need Dean after this. Let's see. Lastly, we'll do it.
We got the defibrillator, go ahead.
That's it. Or the ambulance. 2025 Water Main Improvement Project, Kings Court and Castle Circle. Purpose is to approve a resolution to authorize and execute a construction contract with low bidder Girardi Water and Sewer Company for the Kings Court and Castle Circle Water Main Project. The village engineer developed project plans and specifications, and a bid opening was held on August 7th. You see the three estimates that came in. Girardi was a little over $1 million. They were the low, unique, Suburban General right there. Engineer's estimate, $1,471,355. The fiscal year 25-26 budget includes funds in two accounts within the water fund. Water system, $570,80500, $885,500. Lead service line replacement, $570,50550, $220,500. Girardi Water and Sewer worked in Grange Park and the surrounding communities as is highly reputable. Staff recommends approving a resolution accepting the low bid and entering into a construction contract with Girardi Water and Sewer Company for the Kings Court and Castle Water Main Project for $1,806,1750. Make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a construction contract to be entered into with the lowest qualified and responsive bidder, Girardi Sewer and Water Company, for the performance of the 2025 water main replacement project and authorizing the expenditure of water funds to pay for these services.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, Girardi Construction out of Addison, done, like I said, has done work for us before, reputable, comes in under the engineer's estimate. The residents might not think so in that area, but I look forward to getting this project done.
Any other comments from the board? Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Do you want me to keep going?
So moving on to Finance Committee. Thank you, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. My pleasure.
Okay, Finance Committee, trustee Lautner.
I have a brief financial report this evening representing the financial position through the end of July. We're 25% into the fiscal year of 2026. Fiscal year to date, general fund revenue is at $1,959,788, and that's 16.1% of the annual budget, and $655,464, or 25% lower than last year. This decrease is due to the delay in Cook County issuing the property tax bills. Property tax receipts are at $701,549, or 99.5% lower than last year, and that's because Cook County has not yet issued the second installment property tax bills, which would typically be sent out by July 1st and due August 1st, with initial receipts in mid to late July. Other local taxes are at $1,433, or 0.8% lower than last year. Intergovernmental receipts are up $77,375, or 6.5% from last year. Sales tax and income tax continue to trend higher, while use tax and personal property replacement tax are lower than last year. State use tax declined, was anticipated due to the sales tax legislation, which moved taxes on some out-of-state and online purchases from the use tax to the state and local sales taxes. However, the decline is significantly more than was expected. Licenses and registration fees are at $1,509 or 15.5% lower than last year. Receipts early in the fiscal year are typically smaller and variable, as the majority of the revenue occurs during vehicle sticker sales in the fall. Permit receipts are at $59.87 or 5.8% greater than the prior year. Charges for services are at $3,430 or 1.3% higher than last year. Our fine revenue is at $24.24. That's $2,424 or 6.3% higher than last year due to an increase in court collections. Our miscellaneous revenue is at $40,189 or 28.3% less than last year, and that's due primarily to lower interest revenue. Interest rates have declined over the past year following rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. Total general fund expenditures of $2,502,439 are at 20.6% of the annual budget and $2,402 or 0.1% higher than last year. All departments are within budget expectations. The police department is lower than last year due to the delay in property tax receipts, and the village's police pension contributions occur as property taxes are received. And that concludes the finance report through the first quarter of fiscal year 2026 this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Laudner. Moving on to other reports. Our village clerk,
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
our village treasurer,
No report, Mr. President.
our village engineer,
No report tonight, Mr. President.
council,
No report tonight, President.
and commercial revitalization committee. Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few items to report on. The village's Phase 1 preliminary engineering study for traffic safety improvements along Grange Road, led by consultant Kinley Horn, is underway. This effort stems from community feedback during the Village Market Streetscape Improvement Plan, where residents expressed strong interest in enhancing pedestrian safety with an additional pedestrian crossing or signaled crossing. Public input for Phase 1 study was first received in April and again through an online survey in May. The study is in its early stages, focusing on collecting traffic volumes, crash data, and pedestrian counts on Woodlawn and Oak Avenue. Using the information, Kinley Horn is developing potential technical concepts for IDOT's response, which will provide the village with direction on what options are available as it considers how to move forward with Phase 1 plan. It is critical that the village first understands what IDOT will and will not support before bringing potential options back to the community for further input. The public will have another opportunity to share feedback before the Phase 1 study is complete. Project updates are also available on the village's website and in e-briefs. 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan. Earlier this month, the village kicked off the 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan, a comprehensive initiative to improve safety, accessibility, and the overall character of the corridor. The project study area includes 31st Street from the Grange Road to Maple Avenue and Barnsdale Road from 31st Street to 26th Street. Funded in part by an $180,000 IDOT grant, the plan will analyze crash data, roadway conditions, community input to identify key issues and recommend targeted improvements. We'll be sharing more soon about the first public open house that will happen in the fall. Facade and Property Revitalization Program. The village is accepting applications for the Facade and Property Revitalization Program, which assists property and business owners who aim to enhance the external appearances of their properties. In order to be eligible, a building must be used for commercial purposes and must be located with one in the village's TIF and or business district. Visit the village's website for more information. My last update, Commercial Revitalization Committee. Stay up to date on what's happening in the Grange Park by attending the village's Commercial Revitalization Committee meetings. Upcoming topics include streetscape projects around the village market and 31st Street. Check the calendar page on the village's website for upcoming meeting dates and agendas. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. A motion to approve committee and collectors report is presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have just a couple items. I want to thank Ed and Chief and all of those involved in the building and zoning code presentation. I think you guys did a phenomenal job. Can we each grab one to read on the way home tonight? Went to the concert, Music Under the Stars. I know Julia was there and a couple of you were there. It was a great event. a little short notice, but the evening was beautiful. The band was tremendous, and I just want to thank the Chamber for going in partnership with us and the Park District for all the work that they do to put it on. Max Michaels, a 12-year-old in our community. I don't know if all of you watched at 6 o'clock on Friday night. He was in a home run derby for Little League Baseball out in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. He did a stellar job. He came in third, but he went on TV and said, "I'm Max Michaels. I'm from Grange Park, Illinois," and it was just a very nice thing to see. I hoped to get him here tonight, but his father said he was doing other interviews. No, he was busy. I don't know what he was doing. Went to the Ace Hardware, as some of you did on Saturday with their 40th anniversary. I think Scott Grandchamp has extended himself to our community. I want to thank Chief for all that you guys do to make it comfortable for him to put it on with traffic control and all the barriers and everything you do. Public Works too, Rick, everything that you guys do. I had to do the rib contest with Chief, and I think he ate more ribs than I did, but I don't know. Wow. It was good, though. We had a great time. One last thing. I just found out tonight, and I didn't even get a chance to tell Julia yet, but WFLD's Fox Sports is coming tomorrow. Tina Nguyen, who does the Fox Sports broadcast, is coming here to Village Hall to film. They're doing an expose or a feature article on J.J. McCarthy. So they called me to ask me if we'd be willing to give some comment, and I said, come on over to Village Hall. We'd love to have you. Week from Monday night, all eyes on TV. JJ's opening up with the Minnesota Vikings against the Chicago Bears, so it should be quite the show. Julie and myself and Trustee Zor, and I think she's going to be filling in part-time, and then Trustee Sheehan maybe, but we're going to be meeting at tomorrow with a couple of the residents down at Newberry on the 1000 block of Newberry. I just want the board to be comfortable. I mean, I think you guys have done a great job. I don't know one of you that has not gone by that site and looked at the parking lot, looked at the parking problem that we've been dealing with for 15 years over there. I do want to thank all our departments, our police department, our fire department, our public works department for going above and beyond to cater to the residents down there and do whatever we can possible to make it okay. I'm a little frustrated that we haven't hit the nail on the head yet on their end of it, but I just want to commend the board because I know there were some comments made by a resident that you guys have not participated or looked at that site, and I know that you have. So with that, we will move on to, we've already done public participation in the area left, so any new business? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everyone have a great week.